I've talked about this before, and I need to talk about it again because it's a recurring thing. People are fucking rash, and people want to make up their mind about stuff fast. I mean, studies and politics, everything that really requires a lot of studies and a lot of thought. People just jump to conclusion all the freaking time, and it's very annoying because I get why some politicians and political movements and think tanks want to do this because it's very beneficial to just be like a broken record and just saying the same thing over and over again because it's like that's how you get the psychological meme going in society, making it part of the culture. But if you want to really understand things, you can't just go about and think that things will be quite easy to understand. I mean, if you go and look at something like the human body, you will see a lot of systems. And if you just study one of those systems, you can be stupid and get the impression that all systems in the body works in a similar way. That does not have to be the case. And it's the same with politics and what do you say, sociology, that things just if you make it too simple, you would likely get to the wrong conclusion. And if you know too little about it and know too little about things that have to do with it but not directly, you will get to the conclusion. Like, for instance, that meat is unhealthy. You can't say that meat is healthy or unhealthy. It's contextual. I mean, in some situations, meat is fucking nasty and unhealthy. It can be something wrong with the meat, or it can be something wrong with the person eating the meat at that time. I mean, like, if you do a study with people eating meat, you will find that a lot of people who eat meat are fucking unhealthy. Does that have to do with meat, or does that have to do with that the average citizen in these times often are unhealthy in some ways? So, for instance, I mean, meat is very high in phosphorus, so if someone who already consumes a lot of phosphorus-rich foods, that meat will just add up to the phosphorus intake, the daily intake of phosphorus, and that will have a detrimental effect on things like blood vessels and strength of bones, and even in the long run metabolism. It will fuck some things up, and this is probably also the reason that some of those sandwich meats or lunch meats or whatever, they got a lot of phosphorus salts in them to bind more fluid to them, and it's just add up to more phosphorus, and also meat can be problematic if you have a bad metabolism. But if you get enough calcium and a lot of carbs and eat good meat, shouldn't be any problem with it. Stupidity. The same thing goes for people who freak out about chemicals in foods. Like, oh, it's the E numbers, they're toxic. No, some E numbers are toxic, and some aren't. Some of the E numbers are even used as supplements. I mean, proven supplements to be healthy in a lot of situations. So, I mean, when you overgeneralize and just go around being rash all the time, you will get the wrong conclusions. And when you get the wrong conclusions, you can't act in a good way because you don't have the knowledge necessarily to properly interact in the world. So, I mean, people only have as much time and energy throughout in the day, so there's definitely a limit to being able to really study the things one reads or hears about. But this is the fucking problem, because either you will have to study yourself and be very critical, or you will have to have some sort of authority telling you. And even if you have a benign dictator, I mean, even a benign dictator will be wrong. Not out of evil or spite or wanting to do harm, just because people do things wrong. People fuck up sometimes. I mean, yeah. So this is the problem. Be skeptical. Take your time. Try to be as unemotional about it as you can when you read it, and then really watch it from several perspectives. I mean, science isn't religion. It's supposed to be a tool, but some scientists aren't freaking scientists. They are like clergymen, like fucking sect leaders, and that fucks things up and gives science a bad reputation for people who don't know enough about sciences. And science can look quite boring if you have only read boring studies or bullshit. So yes.